Experimental electronic music is a general label for any music or music styles. A diverse collection of contemporary music from classical and jazz to electronic music, and is often seen to cover many different styles of music. Hello, namaste, and a warm welcome to yet another episode of Light and Shadow with me, your host, Babita Shrestha. In today's program, we have on our show Mr. Daniel Shrestha, who has been producing experimental electronic music for many years. He co-founded District.wav, a non-profit organization which is the local live music harm reduction. Would like to hear more about experimental electronic music and his experiences, so please join me in welcoming Daniel Shrestha to Light and Shadow. Daniel, welcome to Light and Shadow, and so happy to have you on our show.
Thanks for having me.
What is electronic experimental music?
So, experimental electronic music is a large umbrella term for any kind of electronic music that is not like normal, I'd say just general EDM, pop, house music. It can be anywhere from like psychedelic, strange sound design to unconventional types of beats.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you need to have, do you play any instruments?
I play guitar and the piano sometimes, but I'm not I was never classically trained in those things, but that's the beauty of music production, is that you don't have to be super well trained in an instrument to be able to make a beat or anything like that.
Okay.
YouTube University is where I learned a lot of my stuff.
Awesome. That's a good place to go to here.
Exactly.
Talking about your non-profit, you co-founded District.wav. Tell us about this non-profit you're doing.
So District.wav it's a non-profit organization that me and my friends started back in like late 2019, early 2020. It started out as it's a charitable organization where at first we would collect donations from people at local concerts to donate to charities around like the DC area. So local charities, also national charities. But recently we've gotten more into the harm reduction aspect of it. So harm reduction is basically making sure people are being able to have a good time at these shows by testing their drugs at these concerts, or just being able to have a safe space to stay at these music festivals and concerts, because sometimes people do a little bit too much and they need somewhere to go, or they need somewhere to test their drugs to be able to have a good time so they don't die of like a fentanyl overdose or something like that.
So when you say people are doing a bit too much, it's about the use of substance?
Yeah, it's pretty well known that at just concerts in general there will be substance use. So we are there to be able to make sure people are educated about the things that they are using, and also to be able to test if they have the right substance and it's not contaminated with anything else.
So it's basically to make them comfortable and when they are performing, or?
I would say it's less about the performers and more about the attendees.
Okay.
So the people that actually go to the concerts and shows, to make sure that they are in a safe environment.
Totally different environment.
For sure,
Okay.
definitely.
And how long have you been working in this field?
The harm reduction we've been doing for about a year. Some of our friends that run some local production companies have been having us out, having us set up tables at these events. Recently we just worked our first music festival. So we were contracted by the festival to come out and set up a sanctuary for people to come hang out if they needed a safe place to chill, or anything like that. And we also had we had volunteers roaming around, passing out earplugs and water and stuff like that. So that was a pretty big milestone for us.
And you have people supporting you and helping you out in this?
Definitely.
foundation.
We have, so it's 3 people right now. It's me, my friends Andrew and Michelle that were like the main founders of it, and they brought me along to help out. But we also have a large group of friends that's very willing to help us out wherever they can. So we're very grateful for that.
Let's talk about your the electronic music. What got you interested in this, and when did you start listening to electronic?
I feel like it's been a huge part of my life for a long time, especially in this day and age. Electronic music is everywhere. But I'd say I really started getting into it like in middle school when I listened to Skrillex for the first time. He was a big influence on the type of music that I listened to up until very recently. And then I kind of fell off of it for a little bit, and then after high school is when I started getting involved in like the local electronic music scene, going to dubstep shows, drum and bass shows, stuff like that.
Talking about dubstep, what is dubstep?
So dubstep is it's a genre of electronic music that stems from the UK, and it's at 140 beats per minute, and it's very bass heavy and bass focused, and bass and drum focused. Honestly, it's very deep, and it just makes you feel some type of way about the music. It feels really good having the sound system pumping and listening to it.
Get your heartbeat up.
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
very intense.
Yeah, well, sometimes it can be chill, and it can also be intense. It really depends on the song. There's lots of different types of dubstep music out there, but the stuff that I predominantly produce or listen to is very bass and sub-bass oriented, not really mid-range or high frequency oriented. It's more influenced by like Jamaican reggae dub and sound system culture. So there's a big influence from there.
So you'll share with us some of these music you've made?
Yeah, I'll definitely share some music for you.
It was dismay that my environment was undergoing a progressive change. I had the greatest difficulty in expressing myself. My visual fields wavered. I was overcome by a fear that I was going crazy, 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 crazy.
Talking about music, do you write songs?
Not lyrics, but when I'm in the studio, I guess you would consider that a writing process.
Writing.
For sure.
And then when you're writing a song, what do you think about it to translate it into, live performance?
I think of how it's going to mix well with other different songs. Because what I do, I don't play music live. I DJ, so I mix songs together live. So I think about how it would mix with another song or anything like that. But I try to keep a focus on the darkness of the song, because I really like making dark music. So that's like my focus right there.
How do you connect with your audience with music?
I've been trying to connect with my audience a little bit better. I'd say sometimes it's hard to get on the mic and like say hello, because it can be a little bit intimidating for sure. But I'd say I've gotten a lot better at that, just saying hello on the mic or just like talking to the audience, because like DJing is all about interacting with the audience and feeling a vibe and stuff like that.
And then what is your ideal producing environment?
Produce in my bedroom, so just I'd say it's just a comfortable environment is my ideal environment.
That's where your thinking cap comes on and you start thinking.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to be comfortable.
Yeah. And then who are your inspirations, or who inspires you?
When it comes to electronic music, I'd say some of my biggest influences right now, named G. Jones. He's a really big influence on me. He's not necessarily dubstep, he's not necessarily drum and bass. He's very experimental, he's kind of all over the place with the BPMs, but I'd say that his influencers are very like dubstep and drum and bass oriented, maybe even some IDM.
And what other types of music do you produce?
I produce dubstep, drum and bass, halftime, kind of everything. Every time I go into the studio to produce, I try to make something new. I'd say most of the stuff that I do make is either drum and bass or dubstep for sure.
Talking about drum and bass.
Drum and bass is also part of the sound system culture, but more drum driven than bass driven for sure. A lot of the samples come from like old school funk records. So back in the early days of drum and bass, they would sample funk records and they would take the break beat, which is the beat that is in between the lyrics of the song, really, where it would kind of be just a breakdown of it would just be the drums. So they would sample that and then do like some crazy sound design or add like their own like bass to it and have it on a loop. So that's where like drum and bass comes.
A lot of synchronizing, with all these music and lyrics. So Daniel, do you think music creates diversity?
I'd say it creates diversity for sure. It also brings people from many different walks of life together. I'd say that's the beauty of it. It brings people together in a way that nothing else really does. A lot of the closest friends that I've ever met, and we're all from different areas and different walks of life. So I have music to thank for that, for a lot of the relationships that I've built.
So talking about diversity, Daniel, and if you don't mind me asking, because you come from a diverse family.
I'd say so.
Right? So what is your point of view? What can you share the experience from your side?
I'd say I come from two different worlds for sure. American culture and Nepali culture is definitely different. I guess I never really fit in either one, but I'd say I resonate more with the Buddhism and Hinduism side of my family now, just on my core principles for sure.
We are coming almost to the end of the program, Daniel. Have I missed anything that I should have asked you?
I don't think so. I think you got everything down.
I got pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. Then my next thing is going to be to you is, what is your going away? What is your message you would like to leave for our audience?
I guess no matter how hard things get, keep going, because right now as an artist, right now I'm in a position where I never thought that I would be in this position. I play shows out of state, in state. When I first started this musical journey, like I said, I didn't have a lot of experience or classical training, but just throughout being able to keep trying, I've gotten myself to a place where I'm actually a pretty well-renowned artist in my local area, at least. So I'd say just keep at it.
That's awesome, Daniel. I have to say it was a pleasure having you on Light and Shadow, and for sharing your the experimental electronic music, and also your work you're doing as a non-profit organization, plus coming from a diverse family, a dual family. Like, thank you so much once again for coming on Light and Shadow, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
To all our viewers, we hope you've enjoyed today's program with Mr. Daniel Shrestha, who has shared his experience working with experimental music and his involvement in the community. You aren't making music to show your sound design or mixing skills. You're making music because you want to make people feel something deeper inside. Until next time, this is Babita signing off, the entire Light and Shadow team, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Never shy to ask for your support, so please like, share and subscribe. Be positive, stay blessed. Namaste.